Good morning, everybody. This is Aaron, your camp supervisor at Camp Zoofari at the Houston Zoo, and I'm joined again by my friend Lily, our education coordinator with Camp Zoofari. And we are taking over Facebook today with Camp Zoofari to just show you a little bit more about what your campers will get to experience here at the Houston Zoo this summer. Lily, you have something incredible on your arm, and I know that all of our Facebook viewers want to know, because this is way cooler than I'll ever be. Who is this? What is this? And what is the role of this animal at Camp Zoofari this summer?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to clip this on so I have two hands in case Ferdinand wants to get more comfortable. So this is my friend Ferdinand. Ferdinand is a 7-year-old, or almost 7-year-old, so he's 6 now, Texas rat snake, coming right at the camera for you. So he is a fantastic ambassador animal for snakes here in the state of Texas. As the name suggests, he is a Texas rat snake, so he lives in Texas and he loves to eat rats. So he is a fantastic ecosystem balancer. Rats are carriers of disease. They can destroy crops and plants. They have a role here too, but we got to keep them in check, and that is Ferdinand's job. They have a whole lot of names in Texas. People also call them chicken snakes because they're known for occasionally stealing a chicken egg from a coop. But they don't get a whole lot bigger than this. They can. Some of the largest ones will be about 5 or 6 feet, but Ferdinand is already a little over 4 feet. That being said, they're the second largest snake in Texas by length. Just the indigo has them beat. So they are a really amazing species to have around. You could probably guess by the fact he's in my hands that Ferdinand is non-venomous. So yeah, he is a great friend to have around. He is completely harmless to people, pets. He is absolutely just a harm to rats and sometimes an egg or two. So that is his role. But yeah, he's a fantastic ambassador, and I love to talk about Texas wildlife and snakes with him. He is great. So I love to bring Ferdinand to Camp Zoofari. So during camp, which is 9 weeks this summer, plus 2 extra weeks of our special all-access camp, you're going to have the chance to meet an ambassador animal, and it might be Ferdinand. We have a great department of ambassador animals, or education animals, that will come meet campers throughout the summer, and Ferdinand is one of those awesome individuals. So him, as well as some other rat snakes, we have some turtles and tortoises and a few birds that might make some guest appearances during camp. So it's just one of the things that makes camp a different and special experience compared to when you just visit the zoo on your own. And he is just a great time. Ferdinand is a friend. If you'd like to give Ferdinand a little pat, he is fantastic and loves to meet campers. So I just love to bring him around. And like I said, we have some other animals that will have some meet and greet opportunities, and then some that will show off some fun skills, like maybe birds. So it's one of the ways that, like I said, makes camp different than a regular zoo visit. We also have fun behind the scenes experiences, chances for campers to sometimes help inside of our exhibits, usually without animals, and other really fun things. So anything you want to add about camp, Aaron?
Sure. So we've got plenty of space right now, particularly for our older age group. So if you have that 8 to 9 or 10 to 12 age group at home, we've got plenty of space still available for you and your camper to get registered so that you can participate in some of these amazing exclusive experiences that only Camp Zoofari can offer to you. Now, Lily, I know that we have another animal that we want to introduce here in a moment, but I'm sure we have a couple of questions that are floating around in the Facebook universe. And one of those questions that we get all the time when it comes to snakes is, how do they move around? They don't have arms, they don't have hands, they aren't moving around like you and I. So how does Ferdinand get from one point to another point?
Hey, that's a great question. So Ferdinand, like all snakes, doesn't have legs. So snakes have vestigial legs if you feel near their tail. Sometimes they have these itty-bitty little bumps of bone where their legs used to be, because they're closely related to lizards, but no snakes have legs anymore. So Ferdinand moves around. He has one very long spine and a whole lot of sets of ribs. So he moves around with special muscles that hug those ribs, kind of like the muscles along our spine. So there's 4 different ways that snakes can move. Rat snakes use a pretty typical serpentine motion, so they just kind of move side to side like we think of snakes in cartoons. Other snakes move actually straight across the floor, kind of like a caterpillar or millipede. Other ones can jump or throw themselves like jumping vipers. So there's a lot of unique ways that snakes move, but all of them have special muscles along their spine and ribs. Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Aaron. Any other questions from Facebook for the time being? Oh, goodness. All right, if not, you have any other questions about Ferdinand, Aaron, before we move on to our next friend?
Yes, I think the last question that I'm sure that some of our folks on Facebook also wonder, we always see snakes and we always see that tongue action going there. That's not unique to snakes like Ferdinand. I've noticed all of our different snakes that we have on display here at the Houston Zoo do that same behavior. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so a lot of times the easiest way to explain it is snakes smell with their tongue. It's not exactly right, and I'll tell you what's going on about that. So they do flick their tongues frequently, that forked tongue, to kind of see and smell around their environment. Snakes have a variety of different adaptations in their eyes. Sometimes they have heat-sensing pits on their nose and face, and then they all flick their tongue. So that forked tongue picks up the air particles around them or the particles on whatever they're licking, like a rat or a person. And then they bring it into their mouth, and they actually smell with a special organ on the roof of their mouth called a Jacobson's organ. So they get all of those fun smells all over their tongue, and then they take them inside their mouth and they rub them on the roof of their mouth. And there's some research that thinks that their forked tongue means they can even tell which direction smells are in, which is pretty insane. That's not really something that we know of any mammals being super capable of doing, but we think that they could smell all kinds of things. They can smell more like chemically things that we can't smell. So they have really amazing senses. Like I said, some can see heat. They have awesome adaptations because there are thousands of snake species, so they're all very different.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you so much for that information on Ferdinand.
Sure.
I'll take the microphone because I know that you have somebody else who wants to come out and meet us here in a moment.
All right, I'll be right back. Bye, Ferdinand.
Thanks, Ferdinand. See you later. All right, so while Lily is getting our next animal ambassador ready for us, let me just tell you how easy it is to register your camper or campers up for Camp Zoofari this summer at the Houston Zoo. All you have to do if you're interested in signing your kid up for Camp Zoofari is go to the houstonzoo.org website, click on programs, and Camp Zoofari is the first link that you'll see there. On the Camp Zoofari link, you'll see full descriptions of all of the different topics that we have for our different age groups. There's multiple per age group, so if you would like to send your child for more than 1 week at camp, we'll have something new for them to learn. Now, it's important to point out that all of our different topics, all of our different age groups throughout the entire week at camp are going to have the opportunity to see all of the different exhibits that we have here at the Houston Zoo. Everyone will also get the awesome opportunity to feed our giraffes as well as ride our carousel, and we're going to learn specifically about all of those different topics as they relate to every single different animal at the zoo. So a lot of really exciting, really fun, really engaging opportunities that we have available for you and your campers at the Houston Zoo at Camp Zoofari this summer. Now, the interesting part about Camp Zoofari is we are really leaning in and we are empowering all of our campers throughout their experience with us this summer to be able to go back home and talk about their experience at Camp Zoofari so that they know how to share information on how we can participate in saving animals in the wild right in our own backyards, right in our own neighborhoods, and right in our own communities. Now, Lily, I know that our next animal ambassador is out and ready to go on a stroll with you, so I'm going to pass the mic off because this animal is actively moving around our area here.
Yeah, no worries. So we're going to try to keep up with Miss Ruby here. So Ferdinand was a Texas rat snake. If you're joining us more recently, hello, we're the camp team. We just brought Ferdinand, the Texas rat snake, out. So he is a native to Houston species. And now we're moving on to someone a little bit further from home, but not too far. This is Ruby. She is a red-footed tortoise, and she's a full-grown female, so they're a medium-sized tortoise. Native to South America, particularly kind of the Amazon and Colombia. She is an amazing ambassador to some of our South American species, especially some of the amazing tortoises that they have here. So she lives up to that red-footed tortoise name. She's got these beautiful red scales on her feet, and she's got a gorgeous orange head. So they are an amazing tropical tortoise. She loves to eat lots of grass, but she will also eat fruit now and again and berries and other sweet treats. It's a little bit more sugar than some of our grass-heavy tortoises, but she does love munching on hay and grass. So she is fantastic. Ruby is one of my favorite ambassadors to have around and to visit campers as well, since she obviously has a lot of personality. She loves to just chug around. We are in a gated area here, We can also take her to camp and set up a fun little play space for her to meet campers. So she does absolutely love meeting new people, and she loves shell scratches. If you didn't know, turtles and tortoises can feel through their shell. So unlike some of our crustacean friends, their shell is on them when they hatch, and they have the same shell their whole life. It just grows with them, which produces those kind of tree-like rings that grow in their shell. So she's had that same shell her entire life, and she will have it for the rest of her life. So her spine and ribs are connected, and she can totally feel right through it. So that's one great way that tortoises have a little bit more sensory input of their environment. I'm going to make sure she doesn't eat this oak leaf. You can't eat that. Cool. Do we have any questions about Ruby? Do you have any questions about Ruby?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ruby is pretty large in comparison to some other tortoise species that we have on exhibit here. And I know when we're talking about animals and how big they can get, a big question that comes up all the time is, what do these animals eat to get so large? So is Ruby a meat eater? Is she an omnivore? Is she a vegetarian? What does she prefer?
Ruby is absolutely a salad lover. So like I mentioned, she loves grass and fruit, but she eats just a plate of it every day. When you're talking about even larger tortoises like Galapagos tortoises, they get these huge boxes of lettuce that we have shipped in for them, and they eat pounds and pounds of hay every day. But one of my favorite fun facts about animals that are herbivores or vegetarians is they are the larger and longer lived animals on Earth. So if you think about some of the largest animals on Earth, like tortoises, Galapagos tortoises, elephants and rhinos, they are these huge herbivores. So maybe we should take a note from them. Maybe I need to eat more salad because our herbivores are huge and live a very, very long time. So Ruby here is a teenager, but she is full grown, but in her teen years. But red-footed tortoises can easily live more than 50 years. So she might not rival that 180-year mark of a Galapagos tortoise, but she certainly lives a long, long time for a reptile. Yeah, she is amazing, and those different size tortoises are perfect for their environment. She's got to be able to navigate through rainforests. She doesn't have that open field like a Galapagos tortoise, so they can get huge, nothing is in their way, but she's got trees and rocks and other animals in her way. Cool. So one question from Facebook is, what are some of the topics campers can expect this summer? So like Aaron mentioned, we have 8 different topics this summer, plus our all-access ultimate Zoofari camp for our oldest campers at the end of the summer. But those 8 regular camp topics range from talking about wildlife biology to focusing on wild Texas and the amazing ecosystems in Texas. So those topics really narrow down the activities and sometimes the special experiences, but don't worry, no matter what topic you sign up for, you will see the entire zoo. You'll have a very similar experience in those topics, but for example, Wild Texas, super excited that they'll be able to explore the Texas Wetlands exhibit. Maybe when we focus on different animals for the day, they'll focus on some of our Texas residents like cougars, bobcats, North American river otters. So don't be shy at those Texas related topics. We have some amazing species. And Texas is, in fact, very wild. So we have a whole lot to learn about Texas. But even if you sign up for ones that are a little bit more regional focused, you'll still see African forest, you'll still tour the Galapagos Islands, and you'll still get that special behind-the-scenes experience, that giraffe feeding and carousel ride. But if you do have an interest in one of those, you can always reach out to us for more questions. But they are all super fun. Or you can do more than one week. Yeah. Aaron, do you have any other questions for us? I think I pressed a button. Okay, cool.
Okay,
We're all good.
we did not
Sorry.
press any buttons, everyone on Facebook. So I guess talking more about Ruby, I have always heard this common theme that everybody assumes that tortoises don't like water. Is that true? Is it only sea turtles and other turtle species like red-eared sliders that live in the water? What is Ruby's relationship with water?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. I say this all the time to my coworkers and our campers. I love myth busting, I love debunking, and I love reptiles, and there's a whole lot of myth busting and debunking to be done with reptiles. So let's talk about turtles and tortoises. So the long and short of it is tortoises are specialized turtles. So all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. So there are a whole lot of turtles, and there are only a couple dozen tortoises. So a couple things that make tortoises unique, and you are totally right, Erin, most of them are not swimmers. So every now and again, if you visit our Galapagos Islands exhibit, you'll see the Galapagos tortoises floating in the water. They won't be able to ever swim long distances. Some tortoise species have been known to cross rivers. She's like, can I burrow this way? They can cross rivers, they'll wade in the mud, but ultimately they are adapted for life on land, and usually they're really great at even climbing uphill. Galapagos tortoises are migratory up and down lava rocks, and they do that with these crazy little adapted feet. So that's one way you can tell an animal is a tortoise. It's not a perfect rule, just like all the rules with snakes, but they have these back feet that look like little elephant feet. And normally the shells on tortoises are a lot more domed, whereas if you think of like a red-eared slider you see in a pond, they're a lot flatter. And that's because they move faster in the water. And their feet, the more aquatic or marine a turtle is, the flatter their feet are, so they can paddle through the water. So pond turtles, they have those flatter feet. And then you think of like a sea turtle, they have straight up flippers because they're in the water pretty much all the time. So those are some of the differences. And for the most part, tortoises are herbivores and turtles are omnivores. Ruby's, we have another question. What is Ruby's favorite kind of enrichment? So Ruby absolutely loves doing education programs. You can tell she's having a great time looking around, perhaps looking for somewhere to burrow through, see if she can get this gate open so she can keep exploring. She does get a pretty awesome diet that is a colorful variety of foods like different fruits. And Ruby is also target trained, which I always love to share about her. So Ruby's very food motivated. She loves a blueberry. And so she actually, to come out to this program today, she was able to shift into her transport kennel. So she moved straight into it on her own with one of her trainers. She comes out, and then to leave, we'll just set her kennel back on the ground. She'll walk right up into it, and then she'll get a nice tasty snack as a reward for that. So she knows when she gets in there, she gets to come have a great time, hang out, and meet new people. Cool, we have another question. Will campers get to meet an ambassador animal like Ruby? What is the camp age range? Sure, so I'll start with the camp age range. So camp is for children ages 6 through 12. So our groups are organized into different age pods. So our 6 and 7-year-olds camp together, our 8 and 9, and then our 10 through 12. So we have several topics available for each of those age ranges, but that is our current range is 6 through 12. Once you're 13, you can start with our Zoo Crew Teen program. So that is the range for us. And will they get to meet ambassadors like Ruby? Absolutely. So every camp will get to meet at least one animal ambassador. Ruby is a common pick because, like I said, she does absolutely love, we're not going to eat this oak leaf. She does absolutely love to come meet new people. She loves shifting out of her home to come out into the zoo. But we do have a couple other ambassadors. Ruby, being a tortoise, is one that campers do frequently get to interact with, like to touch her on the shell. Some of our other ambassadors, like birds, are a little bit different and are more for just looking and learning. Yeah. Here you are, Erin.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lily, for teaching us about Ferdinand and Ruby, I should say. This is always such a great opportunity, not only for us that work here, but also our Camp Zoofari campers and participants throughout the summer. Ruby, I know, is a crowd favorite. All of our campers always look forward to seeing Ruby and learning more about her year over year. I would like to say, for everybody who's still keeping an eye on Ruby, just thank you so much for tuning in to today's Facebook Live. We really appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Don't forget, you can register for Camp Zoofari online at houstonzoo.org. Click on programs, and Camp Zoofari is the first link available to you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you are so welcome to click on our camp email address and send us any questions you have. When you send those questions in, you're talking directly to me and Lily, and we'll make sure you're taken care of every step of the way. So once again, thank you so much for joining us this morning on this Facebook Live here at the Houston Zoo, and we cannot wait to see you and your camper this summer at Camp Zoofari.